Well, welcome back to the shop build. So it's been a few weeks since we were here last working on the forms for the stem wall and the footings. Today and the next couple weekends we're going to be working on the reinforcement for the concrete. So some stuff that is still lead items is we still got to get the permit. So I had to redraw the plans, so I sent the plans that I had to a drafter to have them redrawn. That's as per county's wishes. And so that's in the process right now. So then we'll get them resubmitted to the county for permits. And once we have that, then we can pour concrete. So ideally is we're gonna have everything 100% ready for pour. So as soon as I get that permit, and then that Friday or Saturday, then we'll be pouring concrete. So it's not the optimal time to be pouring concrete here in Oregon. So it is getting close to winter time. It's November 2nd right now, and 2024. And but you know, that's just what we're faced. Since I have at the bottom of the footing gravel, so I'm more at ease to be able to pour it still rather than try to pour it in mud. So I've been a little bit busy. We've been bending rebar, so I got a rebar bender over there. It's a hand bender. That's like the bare minimum that you're going to be wanting for bending this rebar. This is number 5 bar. 5 is, there's 5/8. That's the diameter of the rebar. So we got that. Here's a hand bender. And I'll show you the process of that. It also cuts, so it cuts things to length, which is great. What I've already done is I've bent the rebar down on the bottom of the footing. So we got number 5 bar, 2 number 5 bars down on the bottom, the horizontals for the footing. And then I have almost all of the verticals, that's what these standing up are, verticals, in place. So the reason for number 5 bar is down on the tall end, talking with my engineer, he said since it's over 4 feet, it needs to be number 5 bar and 18-inch on center. So out here when it comes to number 4 or 4 foot, so from here going around the corner there, this is all 5 foot tall stem wall, and it's gonna be 18 on center. When it was 4 foot, it could be 2 foot on center, which is a standard, and also a number 4 bar. But rather than having a mix of rebar for the inspector and just frankly just the ease of it, I elected to just keep it all number 5 bar, which is stronger. The engineer said more is better, so that's what I'm doing here. So but on this side, number 4, it will be this at 4 foot down to 3 foot down to 2 foot, and that's where none of the 18 inches over there. This is all gonna be 2 foot on center. So horizontal, it's gonna be 2 foot on center, and vertical is 2 foot on center. But when I switch over to this corner here, going to this way, this side is gonna be switching over to 18-inch on center, and horizontal and vertical. So down on the bottom, and as well as all number 5 bar, it needs to have a 30-inch splice. So 1 bar laps over the other bar, 30 inches minimum, can be more, but I am kind of proud of myself. There's some bends here, if you can see from here, bending a 90 down, 90 over. So, and there's some dirt there that I gotta take out. But those bends, you know, trying to think of how I bend those bars so that you have that, maintain that 30-inch minimum splice. So as you can see here, 30 inches. Man, my sump pump's been working overtime with us all this rain we've been having. We've been having a ton of rain. So yeah, you can see I got my horizontal here, got my clearance. You need to have a 3-inch minimum clearance. That's what those concrete blocks are. They're called dobies. Okay, so they're 3-inch by 3-inch by 3-inch, kind of 3-inch cube. And that helps keep it up off the ground 3 inches. And I just got to maintain my 3 inches from the dirt. So that's so water doesn't wick up into the reinforcement through the concrete and then rust it out. So over time. Eventually it will, but that limits how long it takes. So, or lessens how long it takes. Or actually, I got the words mixed up. It adds to how long it takes. So, yeah. So here's kind of a good shot of the bends. So it's like a 45 bend going down like this. That's a 11.5-inch step. So that bend there is about 12 inches. So that's what worked out for me. So it's all looking pretty good. I am gonna have the bars, see how it's going one direction, this vertical L bar. It's going this way on this side, the next one that way, this one this way. So it's alternating. And then I got them nailed up here. They're tied against this form. This is 2 inches, okay? So as you remember from my other videos, once I pour concrete, I'll strip this form back, and then I'll be able to break this loose and bend it over into the slab. That's the whole part of the reasoning for that. My 30 inches is from here to there, so from here to there, but the bottom of the concrete will be down here, so it's going to be bending somewhere right in here into the slab. Something that I need to do that I've been thinking of is from about right here, or excuse me, probably right here, I'm going to raise that up about 2 inches. So this side of the stem wall is going to be 2 inches higher. And part of the reason for that, you got to be thinking all the way towards the end when it comes to my siding and that sort of thing. So where my asphalt is right here, so at this point, it'll be 2 inches higher, but when it gets to the asphalt here, it's only like 1 inch or less higher because this asphalt kind of slopes up. I don't want my siding, or the top of the stem wall, top of slab, all kind of flush right there, so I need this concrete to be a little bit higher. This concrete's gonna go around, I got a door over here. It's 4 foot from the outside edge over. That's where that 2 inches will stop. So actually probably 1.5 inches makes things easier with a bottom plate for framing and whatnot as well. So some other things I just gotta work out in my head as far as my siding. The siding should have, if it doesn't have flashing, should have 1.5 inches clearance between the concrete here and the bottom of siding. So yeah, so we're gonna continue on bending rebar. Make sure you're talking with your engineer in cases like this. There is a standard, footing size, I think 17 inches, 17 inches wide, 7 inches tall for a 4-foot stem wall. Situations like this that the code already has in their book. For this, anything above that, wider than that, deeper than that sort of thing, so you got to have it engineered. So be thinking of those sorts of things, at least in our area of Oregon. So yeah, so we got it all engineered. We're good to go as far as that case. So we're gonna continue on bending. Got a few more of these L bars to place over there. They're ready to go, and then I'm ready for my horizontals. So I'm gonna start where my horizontals down there on the bottom. It's the tallest, and I'm going 18 inches over there, and then I'm gonna continue this way with it transferring to 24 inches. So making sure I have an 18 inch. All right, so for right now, I got all of my verts, the verticals, nailed off, so they're all kind of plumb. I got this one side tie wired, so the tails are tie wired. So I'm gonna be starting now with the horizontals. I went ahead and spray painted. So the top of this tie here, got a point and 18 inches, every 18 inches, and then I came down some because since right up in here, the rebar really needs to have like 1.5 inches, 2 inches of coverage for strength. So I came down right here for that. So the top going all the way around is gonna be right there. I'm gonna have this tail, this horizontal, go around 18 inches this way and going that direction. And then I'm gonna have another 18 inches coming around this direction. So they'll be going 18 inches each direction. So 18, so what we're after is a 30-inch splice You know, 15 and 15 would make 30, but 18 is a little more, so it's better. So that's just what works out. And it works out where this side here, I'm going 2 foot on center. That one, so it'll be in between those. The next one actually lines up with the other. So the next 2 line up with the taller wall, just how it works out, and so forth. I tied the tail on one side, but not the other. So once I get these horizontals in, I'll tie, and I'll bring, excuse me, bring that inside over to wherever it works out for this side, so I can tie, eventually I'll tie the tail on that's pointing the other direction. So waiting on that side till this side's tied up and the horizontal's tied up. So next step is bending that 18 inches for the horizontal. So I got, I guess I should count, huh? I think there's 4 on the 5 foot wall. 1, 2, 3 on this shorter wall. And 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we need 7 here. And then over there, we need 7 as well. So we need a total of 14 bars. They got that 18-inch 90 on it. All right, so I got my stack of rebar. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna spray paint 18 inches. 18's right about there. And why I'm doing 18 inches instead of 3 feet, or excuse me, 30 inches, and is trying, because I got my form and everything there, trying to get work in and around it. So I need to kind of go both directions. So, right here. Ooh. You can see kind of where I'm at on my bender. This is quite a workout. I could have a little bit more too, just to make sure. And almost all the way down. So I want to try to make this as much of a 90 as I can. Not too much, not too little. Another one. I need 14 of these. They make electric ones that make these a little easier that you can rent. But not that fancy, I guess. Plus, this is a good workout.
So these number 5 bars, it's easiest to have some help with something like this. Since my forms, how I'm forming it up this time, the outside has these little 1x2s that are help holding things together on the outside. I have to be able to slide it in through the ends, through the corners, like I am doing now. Which, having my kids help, neighbor kids, my son, it's so awesome to be able to have them involved in this process, helping tie it up. At least, hopefully, they'll be learning something as well, and what that reinforcement is doing. So, kind of recap for you all. The reinforcement, the rebar, what it's doing is it's helping for the tension portion of the concrete. Concrete doesn't really need rebar in the compression part. So this, what the engineer was telling me is that the pressure, the hydraulic pressure from one side or the other of this wall is actually pressing on the wall. So it's trying to bend the wall right in the middle. So the rebar is actually, the slab is going to be connected at top. So as it bends, there's a portion that's in tension. Well, it's time for some more. And as you're going to see here, this is how you cut it to length with the rebar bender as well. Seems like everybody wants to get in on the action. Here's my buddy Mike helping me as well. We're working on the other side of the wall. Make sure this section right here is 18-inch on center maximum, so it can be closer together, just not farther apart. A little bit to the left of where I'm at now, it steps up to 4 feet, so that's the point where it's going to be changing to 2 foot on center. Here's my wife Catherine helping us out as well. I sure love having all these friends, family, helping out with all the tasks. These horizontal bars that I'm tying on here, I'm tying about every other bar, so it's technically about 50% or more tied in this case. Just a single loop tie with tie wire.
Well, for the rebar portion of this project is pretty much complete for the stem wall. So as a kind of a recap, this is a 5/8 rebar, which is a number 5 bar. Probably 3/4 of this only calls for number 4, 2 foot on center. But that taller 5 foot section, the engineer called for a number 5 bar, 18-inch on center. So we did that, and with a number 5 bar, it requires 30 inches of lap. So some of these things I had to get creative on the bends to making sure that I have that 30-inch lap for the number 5 bar. Some other things that I added that I didn't quite show you. This bar right here, it's a UFR bar. It's a it's a grounding rod where it ties into the rebar. Okay, there's certain requirements for it. In our area, that bottom leg only needed to be 12-inch minimum, which is actually like 2 feet. So much better that way. And this ties into the electric panel, so the grounding for it. Some other things, I went ahead and formed this up. I thought I was gonna have the truck drive over it, but I'm gonna get a pump, a concrete pump, to pump all this. So I pulled all that out, formed it up and whatnot. There's a little bit of forming I still need to do, but as far as the rebar goes, that's it. So hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully you liked, and we're gonna continue on with button up the concrete form, and then getting close to pouring. So yeah, it's been quite a long process, but you know, it all takes time to get the permit and finishing with the architect and that sort of thing. So once we get our permit, we'll be ready to pour. That's the plan. So like always, be safe out there. Wear all your PPE when you're doing the work that you're doing. So make sure you're wearing your safety glasses, your ear protection, gloves, and all that sort of thing. So I'll see you next time on the next one.